Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal. So if you have been watching my channel, you know that I love tracking things in my perfume journal. I keep track of my scent of the day, my scent of the night, what's coming in and out of my collection every month, and how much I spend down to the penny. I also keep track of every perfume that I have in my collection, and Parfumo is my perfume database of choice. That is where I keep track of every single drop of fragrance in my collection, from bottles to travel sizes to decants to minis to samples. So in one of my recent fits of insomnia, I thought to myself, I wonder which perfumes in my collection have the highest ratings on Parfumo, because what else would anybody be thinking about at 2 o'clock in the morning? And so I thought that would be pretty interesting to look up. I did resist the urge to get up right then and there and begin my research, but I did not forget about it the next day. So Parfumo allows you to see the average rating for any given perfume that has been rated by members of the Parfumo community. The ratings are out of 10, and they are for scent, longevity, sillage, bottle, and value for money. And I love looking at all the different types of stats on my Parfumo page. So, like, for context, the average rating of all of the perfumes in my full bottle collection is 7.5 out of 10 for scent, according to the Parfumo community. So from this middle of the night insomnia idea that I had, I then went through every single perfume that I own, and I looked to see which ones had the highest ratings. And I was really actually pretty surprised by what I learned. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the perfumes in my main collection. So like not decants, not samples, not minis, no travel sizes of like 10 mil or less. The perfumes in my main collection that had the highest ratings for scent, according to Parfumo. And in order to make the list, the perfume had to have at least 10 ratings on the site. Like, there were some perfumes that I own that had higher ratings that are not on this list that you're about to see, but I considered like a sample size of 10 ratings enough to make my little fake experiment here valid. So in all, there were 23 perfumes in my main collection that were rated 8 or higher for scent. 10 of them were rated 8 on the nose, but for this video, so it's not like 10 hours long, I will share with you the perfumes in my main collection that were rated 8.1 or higher by the Parfumo community. And we'll start with the perfumes that were rated exactly 8.1%. There were 3 of them, and I'll share them with you in order of the year that they were released. So the first perfume is Safari from Ralph Lauren. This perfume came out in 1989. It has 336 ratings on Parfumo, and the perfumer is the amazing Dominique Ropion. Safari is an iconic scent. It is very much the scent of sunset over the Serengeti. It is one of the most interesting perfumes that I own. It is a study in complexity. It's a perfume that is layered in earth tones. There is like this vibrant, moist green quality and a dry hay-like texture at the same exact time. It is deeply floral with notes of narcissus and a spicy marigold. There's rose and orange blossom and jasmine, and it's also aromatic and woody, and it's light and sparkly and bouncy. It's sophisticated and casual at the same time. It's like a study in amazing contradiction. There is nothing like Safari. It is one of, I think, Dominique Ropion's greatest creations, and to me, this perfume absolutely stands the test of time. Next, with another score of 8.1, is Kenzo's Amour. This perfume came out in 2006. It has a total of 951 ratings on Parfumo, and the perfumers are Daphne Bouget and Olivier Cresp. So interestingly, this perfume is ranked number 25 overall of all, quote, women's perfumes on Parfumo. And I would say that if you are someone who cannot get enough of powdery perfumes, this one is well worth checking out. It comes in at a really decent price point. I'm pretty certain that this 100 ml bottle still comes in around like the $50 range. And so, like a lot of other powdery florals, this has a very noticeable heliotrope note, which also adds a bit of that lovely almondy quality to the scent. And that is paired with this really interesting rice steam note. It's really wonderful. It's actually not as ricey as I would like it to be. I could do with even like more rice in this, but it is still really, really nicely done. This doesn't teeter really into gourmand territory though. There are some very interesting florals that I think go well with the powdery vanilla backbone of this fragrance. There is cherry blossom and frangipani, and then there's this white tea note that adds a touch of cleanliness to this perfume. It doesn't go all the way soapy, but it is a little bit fresh and clean. All of that sets this perfume apart from other powdery florals that I have in my collection and that I have smelled. This really is a wonderful perfume, and I think it is in the most unique and beautiful bottle. And squeaking in at an 8.1 with 11 ratings under its belt is Oriflamme's Éclate Mon Parfum. So the perfumer here is Emily Bevier-Copperman, who has created perfumes for Carolina Herrera, Ferragamo, Givenchy, Dolce & Gabbana. She has this really impressive library of work, well worth looking up. And I would say that this is not one of the most well-known of her creations, but I can see why this is well loved by the 11 people who rated it on Parfumo. So this is another powdery floral in my collection. You would very much think if you smelled this that it's a sweet rose violet, but it's actually heliotrope and iris and musk. But I don't get like that almondy quality of the heliotrope that I do in other perfumes that feature that note. This perfume also has some nashi pear, which adds a little bit of a shampoo-y vibe to this scent. And that shampoo-y quality is way, way more pronounced in the opening, but the dry down of this is like 100% sweet, powdery floral. It is delightful, it's easy to wear, it's inoffensive, and it's super cheap. I think I got this for about like $20 maybe secondhand, and that made me pretty happy because Oriflamme is actually a little bit hard to come by if you live in the US, but a safe search and a lot of patience usually pays off. Okay, so now we are moving on to the 8.2s, and we are starting out with the amazing original Fendi from Fendi with 230 ratings on Parfumo. This perfume came out in 1987. It was created at Firmenich, and I'm not actually sure who the individual perfumer or perfumers were. I would love to know if anyone is aware of the actual perfumer behind this incredibly gorgeous creation. So if I had to make a list of vintage perfumes for like every perfume enthusiast who is interested in dipping their toes into the vintage pool, Fendi would 1000% make the list. So caveat, I think you do have to be a little bit careful when purchasing vintages online because some of the more delicate notes in vintage perfumes do degrade over time, more than like deep ambery vintages like Opium or Obsession. And I have smelled some Fendis that have gone off just a little bit. When it is in its most wonderful vintage form, Fendi is a very, very spicy floral chypre. It's a mix of the aldehydic, the ambery, and the floral qualities of the perfumes of its decade. It leans more heavily, I would say, into the spicy florals and the woodiness and this beautiful oak moss in the base. It is incredibly seductive. It is opulent smelling and super sophisticated. And one thing I will say about my vintages is when I do choose to wear them, I tend to spray them on clothing. So like over time, we have seen many, many ingredients in perfumery restricted or banned. And I have personally noticed that my skin is more sensitive now to vintage perfumes than it was back in like the 70s and 80s and 90s when these perfumes were newly released and I was wearing them. And so every once in a while, though, I will give the back of my hand like a little spritz or a dab so that I can really enjoy the perfume as it was meant to be enjoyed, warmed up to 98.6 and without all the itchiness or the sensitivity I would have from spraying it all over myself like I normally would. But no surprise that Fendi made the list with an 8.2 score. This is an absolutely stunning perfume. Next is Acqua e Zucchero, a 2002 release from Perfume Roma, coming in at an 8.2 rating for scent with a whopping 1,212 raters on Parfumo. Now, this one really surprised me that it made the list because of all of the Perfume Roma gourmands that I have smelled, and I have maybe like 4 of their gourmands now in my collection, this is not the one that I would have chosen as the most highly rated. To me, Acqua e Zucchero, which basically means sugar water, it smells almost exactly like Aqualina's pink sugar, which in the body mist you can find for about $5. Like, they are almost identical. And I don't think that this was created as a dupe for pink sugar at all. But there is no denying the similarities between the two. Perfume Roma's note lists are very, very minimal. There's usually only 3 or 4 notes listed for each of their perfumes. And this one is orange flower, red fruits, and vanilla. And this overlaps with pink sugar in the red fruits and vanilla, which is where the similarities between the two really converge. To me, both of these perfumes are like excessively sweet. And Acqua e Zucchero will last on clothing for days upon days upon days. It's kind of a lot. I would give a much higher rating to Dolce Acqua from Perfume Roma. That is the perfume I describe as the one and only gourmand perfume that I would want for the rest of my life if I had to choose only one. That one is vanilla, almond, tonka, and coconut. Dolce Acqua is a more elegant kind of sweet, whereas I would say Acqua e Zucchero is more candy-like and playful. But Parfumo raters love this one, so here it is on my list. And rounding out the 8.2s, I feel like a sports announcer, like this is the Olympics of perfume or something. Rounding out the 8.2s with 179 ratings is Benjoin Bohème from Diptyque. This was created by the late genius perfumer Olivier Pechot. It is one of those perfumes that I know perfume enthusiasts lament this one in its current formulation. Everybody loves the original, but I think that the current formulation of this is superb. This is a very resinous perfume, but it never ever feels sticky or heavy. It's like on the lighter, drier end of resinous. It's even a little bit powdery because it has a touch of labdanum. But what I think is amazing about this perfume is how Olivier Pechot makes these ingredients, which could easily weigh down any composition, feel almost like lustrous and radiant, just like the label on this bottle. This is a magnificent perfume, and I think its rating is well earned. Now moving up to a score of 8.4, according to the Parfumo community, is L'Interdit Rouge from Givenchy with 1,177 ratings. This perfume came out in 2021, and it was created by a thrilling trio of noses. It was Dominique Ropillon, Anne Filippo, and Fanny Ball. And this perfume is also, I learned, the number 6 rated, quote, women's perfume overall on Parfumo. So I always describe this perfume, L'Interdit Rouge, as the perfume that almost got me banned from like every family holiday moving forward, because I got this as a Christmas gift. I opened it, I oversprayed it onto a very thick sweater, and everyone in the room was coughing and wheezing and cursing me out. So once I learned to spray just the right amount of this perfume on, that is when I and others around me could fully appreciate the beautiful earthy patchouli, the awesome spicy pimento and the ginger, and then those stunning white florals, that glorious tuberose in this perfume. So obviously this one is not for the faint of heart. It has to be worn properly or it will wear you. And I think this perfume would have fit in really, really well in the 1980s. It has those bold white florals, that kick of spices, that earthy base. And to me, this is like a modern day version of a 1980s white floral. I love, love, love this. And I think 8.4 is just the right rating for this beauty. So I was super excited to see this one make the list. This is Adorum from Nez. It was created by Fabrice Pellegrin, and it came in with an average score of 8.8 from 28 ratings on Parfumo. So even though the number of ratings is comparatively small, I have so much love for this perfume. To me, this is the best incense perfume that I have ever smelled. So Nez is not actually a perfume brand. It's a beautiful biannual publication that is focused on fragrances, and this perfume just happens to be one of their collaborations. This is very simply a smoky, churchy incense. It is Vulcane incense to be specific, which is an incense material that is formulated by Firmenich, and it's frankincense based, but what they do is they take the frankincense and they process it at an extremely high temperature, which is what makes the material smell deeper and smokier, like the kind of incense you would associate with a church or a cathedral, rather than pulling out like the cleaner aspects of the pure resin of frankincense that you often get in a perfume. So then Fabrice Pellegrin surrounds this gorgeous incense with a very, very dry cocoa note and some gorgeous vanilla that sort of softens everything up. And I have to share his own words with you because I could not say this any better. It's a simple construction with very few ingredients, but keeping it simple is always complicated. And to me, this is an example of the wonder of perfumery, the alchemy of it all. Raw ingredients in the hands of an artist whose olfactory work will evoke images, emotions, associations, and feelings like no other art form can. This is a spectacular perfume. It is very inexpensive. I think this is 15 mil. I think I paid $35 for this. It is well worth it. A little goes a long way and is really, honestly, one of the best perfumes in my entire collection. This perfume is for the incense lovers. And finally, this is the highest rated perfume in my collection with an average score of 9.1. This perfume has 24 ratings on Parfumo, but is not to be confused with the EDP version of this scent, which is rated at a 7.7 with 705 ratings. This is the pure perfume of Calvin Klein's Obsession. Okay, so what can I possibly say about Obsession? It is about as perfect as an amber perfume can be. This was created in 1985 by Jean Guichard. This was a groundbreaking perfume, both as a scent and also the marketing campaign. It was like borderline irreverent. And if you have ever seen the video ads for Obsession, they are as bonkers as like some of the music videos were in the decade. If you watch them today, they almost look like SNL skits. They are like these abstract scenarios with poetic statements like, between love and madness lies obsession. And my favorite tagline of all, there are many loves, but only one obsession. I mean, the ads are like amazing. Okay, but the perfume is even more amazing. It is the perfect combination of sweet, spicy, and woody with just a slight animalic purr to it. Like nothing super civet heavy like other perfumes of its time, but just enough. I mean, this is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. The best amber perfume. It is thick. It is velvety. It smells exactly like the color of the liquid itself. I would still absolutely purchase the current formulation of the EDP of Obsession. I think it's beautiful. But this one, this is like a deeply moving perfume. I know that sounds like kind of exaggerated, but I really mean it. It's just one of the best perfumes ever made. And this is an absolute treasure in my collection. Okay, so there we are, the highest rated perfumes in my collection as represented on Parfumo. This was super fun to research and think about. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. And I would be really curious to know which perfumes in your collections are highly rated, and if you agree with those ratings or not. Thank you so much for watching, for spending your time here with me, and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I rate you 10 out of 10. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.